Great. We'll get started now. So, hi everyone. My name is Ivan Nguyen, and it is my privilege to serve the University of Toronto as the Student and Alumni Career Engagement Coordinator. And I want to first welcome and thank you for joining us today on a Thursday afternoon for this webinar. Before we begin the event, I do want to take the time to acknowledge the land on which the University of Toronto operates. For thousands of years, it has been the traditional land of the Huron-Wendat, the Seneca, and the Mississaugas of the Credit. Today, this meeting place is still home to many Indigenous people from across the Turtle Island, and we're grateful to have the opportunity to work on this land. It is worth noting that acknowledging the land is Indigenous protocol. To recognize the land is an expression of gratitude and appreciation to those whose territory we reside on, and a way of honoring the Indigenous people who have been living and working on the land from time immemorial. It is important to understand the long-standing history that brought us to reside on the land and to understand our place within it. Land acknowledgement do not exist in the past tense, and we need to remain mindful on our ongoing responsibilities in the present. So welcome everyone to this exclusive Alumni Skill Building webinar titled Data Storytelling: An Introduction to Tableau with our special alumni speaker, Bill Nguyen. Bill holds an honor Bachelor of Science degree with a major in economics and minor in chemistry and statistics. He's currently the technology consultant at KPMG Canada, where he specializes in IT strategies and data analytics. Prior to joining KPMG, he has several internships as a data analyst and business intelligence developer, allowing him to hone his skill in data visualizations tools like Tableau, Power BI, and as a former Tableau student ambassador, he's eager to help other students like yourself in learning how to use Tableau effectively and making it a valuable tool in their toolkits. Be ready to take notes, and yes, the webinar will be shared afterward as a video recording, so don't worry if you miss anything. But without any further ado, please join me to welcome Bill.
Thank you, Ivan. I would just share my screen now, and let's get started. All right. So first of all, thank you, Ivan. Thank you, the team, for giving me this opportunity to present this workshop. It's an honor to be back at UofT and help the community as well, as it's given me a lot throughout the last few years when I was at the university. So super happy to be here. And a big thank you to all of you who's here today. I think it's the reading week, so on a Thursday lunchtime as well. So I really appreciate you guys showing up and for this session. And hopefully it'll be a helpful 1 hour workshop for you to learn a bit about Tableau, a bit about data storytelling, and then as things you can take away from this session to further explore the possibilities with Tableau and with other visualization tools as well. So before we get started, just a quick introduction about myself. Like Ivan has said, I'm currently a tech consultant at KPMG Canada. I've started since September last year, so it's been a year in this role. And I mainly focuses on a lot of the work doing data analytics, data visualization works. So I use Tableau, I use Power BI, SQL, Excel a lot during my work time. And before that, I was also a data analyst intern at UofT and at Brookfield. So lots of exposure with these different tools as well. I graduated as an econ major, stats minor, and chemistry minor at UofT last year. So we did a lot of these kind of workshops when I was at UofT, and I'm very happy to be able to host one today. I was a Tableau student ambassador, so I've also tried to share my interest and my knowledge and learning as a Tableau student ambassador before to students like yourself to get used to the tool as well. And for my hobbies, I do a lot of sports and I love to travel. So yeah, that's about me. And then for today's workshop, before we get started, here's an overview of what the workshop is going to be like. So we'll start by talking a bit about data storytelling. Why is it important as a skill to learn? And why is it important in the workplace as well? And then we'll talk a bit about an intro to Tableau session, followed up by a quick Tableau demo. So the main focus of today's group is just a very quick demo to show you guys what Tableau is about, and also the capabilities, the possibility of Tableau. It's only a very quick demo, so you won't learn, like everything you need to use Tableau in such a short amount of time. But I think it will be helpful for you to get started, and then you can take away things from this workshop that will help you learn more or do more if you're interested in that, right? We'll end up with some storytelling tips and tricks, custom community resource you guys can use, and then a very quick Q&A at the end of the session as well for any questions. I think throughout the workshop, happy to take up any questions. If you guys can just drop them in the chat, and then Ivan can help let me know if there's any questions like that as we go through the workshop, or if we go through demo, I can answer any of them if you have any questions as well. All right, so before we get started, maybe let's start by just a quick poll. Let's say, how many of you have heard of Tableau before, or what kind of experience do you have with Tableau? I'll just give it a few seconds for you guys to answer this poll. All right, I think we have a pretty good idea. We end this poll. Thank you everyone for participating. So if you guys can see the results, I think around 70% of you have never heard of Tableau before. So this is perfect. It's just a very quick introduction to what Tableau is all about. And then I know the basics, but want to learn more. So awesome. So hopefully you can be able to take away some stuff from this session as well. And do let me know if you have any questions. For myself, I've used Tableau since 2021, and then I've used it for mainly 1 year, year and a half for my work. So I've known some experience there. I'm by no means like a Tableau expert, as I've seen in the community. There's a lot of people, a lot of work that they've done with Tableau. But happy to share my experience from what I've learned so far, and then hopefully we can do it like a skill sharing kind of idea, right? Where if you have other experience in it, you can also share with the chat or with the participants today, and we can all learn together. Awesome. So let's get started. The first thing I want to talk about is why data storytelling is important, and then that would bring us into Tableau. So I think in this world where nowadays there's a lot of data, there's a lot of information bombarded at you, either in your classes or if you go to the workplace, right? You have a lot of different data sets, a lot of work that your boss, your managers, or your client wants you to analyze. What they want to take away from it is just very key informations and the idea of what they can do with that information, right? So data storytelling helps bridge the gap between a complex data set and bring it into actionable insights. And in an environment where decisions making are increasingly driven by data, so if you're looking at any job postings, any interviews and stuff, everyone's like they're looking for a data-driven candidate, right? In a world where it's so important, the ability for each of us to be able to convey information through a compelling stories, a compelling narratives, can significantly enhance the way we communicate and collaborate and work amongst each other, right? So data storytelling helps us breaks down the data set into meaningful information, making it easier for those who are listening, the audience to understand them. It clarifies the key message, what they need to focus on. So if you're given a data set of like 1 million row, what insights can you take away from it? It captures our attention. It fosters trust, as in a way that if you're able to present the data that's being given to you in a clear way, as clear as possible, people will listen more. It will be able to influence better decision making, have an effective story so the executive or whoever is making that decision knows exactly what they're looking at and what they should be thinking about or making a decision about. And it also makes information more memorable as well. So stories are easier to remember than raw data, right? So helping audiences retain information and recall it easy as they can when it's needed. That's why data storytelling is so important. Which brings us to the next point about Tableau. So for those of you who've never heard of Tableau before, Tableau is a leading data visualization tool and business intelligence tool that allows users to explore data and generate insights, right? So data visualization, let's take a backtrack here. Data visualization is a big part of data storytelling. It's not everything for sure, but data visualization helps people look at a picture or look at a dashboard or an infographic, and they're able to pinpoint out the key information or the key insights from the data that's being given them, right? So Tableau helps users achieve this goal, being able to visualize the data, map it out, make it easy for the audience to understand it. But it also takes it much further than that as well. So Tableau being owned by Salesforce, they have a lot of different tools or it's tool in their toolkit. Let's say we start with Tableau Prep. Tableau Prep helps you clean your data, prepare your data so that you can have a very clean data set to be able to visualize with it, right? So Tableau Prep helps you. It's similar to the way that if you're using Python or anything like that, you can use Tableau Prep as a way to prepare your data set. And it's a low code, no code kind of tool. So you don't need to know like coding language to get started. Same with Tableau as well. You don't need to know coding language to get started. It's a drag and drop tools. And as you get more advanced, you might need some coding, but it's not like you have to learn Python from the start or anything like that. So I think that's a very big advantage with Tableau. Next up, we have Tableau Desktop. And what Tableau Desktop is it's the tool that you use to build data visualizations, right? So it's data exploration tool that helps you analyze the data, slice and dice the data, play around with the data, build any visuals that or reports that can later be shared to the audience or the executives or whoever you want to share it to. So that's the strength of that Tableau Desktop. So before, I think we sent out an email with some instruction for you to be able to get a Tableau Desktop license as a student. It is a free license that they grant you for a year, and then you can renew it as long as you're still a student. So it's a very good thing to take advantage of, and I highly recommend people to take advantage of it because it's a free tool. And then now that if like myself, if I graduate and I want a license, I have to pay for it, which is quite pricey. So yeah, I think it's a great chance for you to get the license. If you don't have that license or if you have any difficulties with getting a Tableau Desktop license for students, you can also use Tableau Public. Tableau Public is there's a web app version of it as well as a local version. So it's like a lighter version of Tableau Desktop, but you can do most of the data visualization tools and most of the capabilities that you can with Tableau Public as well. So it's a completely free tool. It's going to be free forever. So I highly recommend you to have that as well. You only need to open an account and then you can share, build data insights and stuff like that, and then share your works to the world. So amazing, another amazing resource from Tableau as well. And then there's Tableau Cloud, which allows you, if you're end up working in a company or anything like that, it's allow you to share insights and collaborate with your colleagues and everything else. So it's another great tool for Tableau. All right, so maybe we should talk a bit about some competitors or other alternative data visualization tools that are out there as well. Other tools such as Power BI is super popular as well. I think Tableau and Power BI are neck to neck in terms of their capabilities as well as their market share. So if you learn one tool or the other, you can easily transfer your skills as well. So hence one of the reasons why you should learn Tableau. ClickSense, Looker from Google is also other alternative tools that you can use as well. And why should we learn Tableau? I think it's a big question that we might all ask. Tableau is easy to get started. Like I said, it's a drag and drop tool. So highly recommend you to get started, even if you don't know any coding skills. It's very versatile, like you see with the different capabilities, and you can use the knowledge you use from here to Power BI or other tools as well. So I think it's a very uh, uh, important skills to have in your skill set. The skill set is in high demand. So as a data guy, when I look at different job posting or anything like that, lots of it requires or is highly recommended you have Tableau or Power BI. So very good for the tool. There's a lot of good integrations. You can use Excel, all the stuff, right, which I'll talk about later. And then there's a lot of community resources as well. So there's a very big, strong data visualization Tableau community out there, which if you have any questions or anything, that people are very willing to help you. So yeah, just a few very high level overview of what Tableau is about. And then I think let's go ahead with the next thing. So now let's get started with a Tableau demo. If you have Tableau public on or Tableau desktop, please open it now on your screen. And then if you have a chance to download the data set, then please download that as well. If not, I will drop the data set linked in the chat as well. And it will be good for you to follow along. If you cannot follow along, that's all right as well. We do have recordings, so you can take a look at it again at the end and then follow along at home as well. So I'll give people a few minutes to open their tools and stuff, and I will open mine as well. If you have the data set open, it should be something, it looks like this. Yeah. We'll give it 1 minute and then let's get started. All right. So if you have Tableau desktop or Tableau public open, this is the first screen you should see. Currently, I have Tableau public open, so it's a free version. And this is what you should see in the screen. On the right, there's like some information about Tableau, where to learn Tableau, what's new. They update it every quarter based on the user's recommendations. So it's always updated and you have to download a new version every time, but it's quite up to date. This is the latest version, what it looks like. In here are like some sort of work that if you've done any work on Tableau, then you can click on these. And then on the left is what you can use to connect the data to, right? So as you can see, like I've said earlier, we can connect the data to many different kind of data sources, Excel, text file like CSV, JSON file, databases like Microsoft Access. And if you have the Tableau desktop version, you can see it's probably like over 100 different kind of data source here. Since it's Tableau public is a lighter version of Tableau desktop, there's only a few data sources, but I think with Excel or anything like that, it's more than enough for us to practice or get started with the tool. Right, so let's start first off by connecting some data to Tableau. If you click on Microsoft Excel, find your data set, you can click onto it and click open, which would bring us to this page, right? As you can see here, this is the main canvas that will work with data to create a data model. Like it says on the top left, it says the name of the file that we just connect. So you can connect more files if you want as well, and then you can link them together. Next up is the sheets. So as you can see on my Excel here, we have 3 different sheets, which is displayed on here with the sheets name, order, people, and returns. Because today is a very basic one, which is work with 1 sheets, but if you want to expand further, you can use multiple sheets on your dashboard and to connect the data together. So let's start by dragging orders onto the screen here, which would populate your canvas. First of all, this would show orders here. So if you were to drop, like, let's say another data set in here, it would connect the data using a similar, relationship, right? So it's connecting it with region here. But since we don't need it, I think we can remove this data for now and just keep orders. And then on the bottom right here, this is like a summary of what that data sheet looks like. So there's 21 fields, as in there's 21 columns in the sheet. It's over 10,000 rows. And then you can see what the sheet kind of looks like as it is on Excel, right? On here, what Tableau, the cool thing about Tableau is it's kind of recognize what kind of data you have when using the sheet. So let's say there's this order date columns, it would recognize that the data is a data type, right? And if you want to change the data type into something else, per se, it's just a number or date and time, you can switch it up on here as well. You can rename the column. So let's say if you don't want to say order date, but just say date or something like that, right? I won't change it for that fact, but you can also change it here as well. And then the bottom left here are the summary of these columns and what kind of data it is, what table it's in, and what's the name, right? So let's go next on the bottom left here. Let's click on sheet 1. It should say go to worksheet. What this is the canvas that you'll be starting to work with when building your data, right? So as if you're building an infographic or dashboards, there's many different components to that dashboard or infographic. How Tableau works is that you will build one graphic at a time and then put it together in a dashboard, which is down here, right? But let's get started by just building, learning about how to build one infographic at a time, and then bring them all together and add some interactivity into it as well. So on the left here, first of all, we have data columns. So these are similar to what the columns that you've seen on the data source page, with the showing like what kind of data type it is, their names. As you can see, it's been broken down into 2 categories. The first top here, and then there's a line down here. The top part is what we call dimensions. So dimensions are qualitative values that Tableau has recognized in our data set. And what that could be like is these are like city names, right? Category name, customer name, those are called qualitative data. Those are dimensions. And you can use these dimensions to categorize and segment or review the details in your data. In opposed to that, the bottom ones are measures. What measures are the numeric quantitative values. So as see sales data, quantity data, profit data, discount data, these are numbers, right? So you can use these to show the insights or aggregate them, like sum them, average them, things like that, right? And the data set that we'll be working with is called a superstore data set, which it's like a sales data of like a superstore. So that's the scenario that we're working with. On here, that's called a data pane. The other button is called the analytics pane. So when you put in your data, you can build different models here with like an average, let's say trend line, average line, all this fun stuff. There's a toolbar up here where you can do save data, connect to view data source, change the size of the sheets. And then there's around here, these are called cards. So cards help you build the data, the visualization in the data. So first of all, you have the columns and rows. Columns is what goes vertically. Rows is what go horizontally. So depending on the different combinations of the data that you put in, you can build different visualization, as you can see on the top. And then you can change the colors, size, all the stuff, add some filters in here as well. Right, and then you can build multiple sheets if you click onto this button, which you will do in the bit. So let's get started by tracking order date on here. On order date, let's track it to column. Because it's a date data, as you can see, we are able to drill down the data into different levels. So you can start with the year and then drill down by quarter. This is Tableau completely recognize this because it's a data type. For our purpose, let's say we only want to take the month. We can right click on it and then choose month here, which shows only the month in the year, right? And then let's say we want to understand about how sales go month by month throughout the year, right? We can drag the sales data onto row, and it would automatically recognize that this is a trend line month by month data, so it will show a chart. Next up, let's say you want to look at the data in multiple years, right? As you see before, we have 2019 up till 2021 or 2022, something like that. Let's drag order date into the colors. And it will automatically break down the data for you into different years, right? You can also add a label. There's like a legend here of like which years corresponds to which label. But you can also add some text to show the year as well. So we can bring order date into it. Wait, with the way it's being worked right now, it would go to the next level to show the quarter. But because we only want the year data right now, we can right click on the quarter on this marks here and then change it to year, which would connect it into a line and shows what year each line corresponds to. So it can give you like a bit of a trend, right? You can understand sales goes up in September and in early December as well. Maybe there's some holidays there, Christmas, things like that. Next up, we want to change this into an entire view. Let's bring it into an entire view so we can full, just like that. You can play around with it, change perhaps, let's say the color. So you can click on colors here, click on edit color, and Tableau gives you a bunch of different colors and stuff like that that they've already determined. You can also, I believe, make your own palette as well. But for the sake of it, I want to use the colorblind data set, right? I think a part of about data visualization and data storytelling is being inclusive with the users as well. So for those who have trouble seeing or differentiating colors, I think using a colorblind data palette is very good. So we can use assign palette, click apply, which would change the palette right there. Okay, and then let's change this to we call monthly sales. So yeah, I hope we've all follow along so far, and tada, we've made our first chart. Let's create the next one. So let's click on sheet number 2 here. Next up, we want to analyze the data between, let's say, different products that we have and the sales and the profit data. On here, as you can see, there's a lot of different categories, product. It's being broken down to different levels, right? So with the product data, we can start by analyzing it with category. If you click on control and left click subcategory, product name, product ID, like that, you can group them into a hierarchy, just like the way order date is. So if you select it like that, right click, and I click on hierarchy, create hierarchy. Let's name this a product hierarchy. Right. And if you bring this to rows, you can see it starts with furniture, and then you can drill down. It will drill down to different products because category should go to subcategory. You can left click on here and bring it up. So it starts with category, subcategory. Let's change product name as well, and then product ID. And then if you drill down, it starts with category, subcategory, and then product name, right? Now, let's say you want to analyze the sales data. You can bring the sales to column, and it will create a bar chart, right? And then in the meantime, you also want to analyze the profits, perhaps with the same chart as well. You can bring profits to color, which, let's see, if we have a high sales, it doesn't mean we have a high profit, right? So this would help us analyze that data, and using colors help the users take a look at it very quickly and understand the data really quickly as well. You can sort the sales by descending. So the highest one goes on top and then it goes lower. Maybe you want to use it as a bar chart instead of as a vertical chart instead of a horizontal chart. You can swip it with the tool up here, flip it like that, maybe make it an entire view so it fills up the data. There you go. Awesome. And let's drill down the data into not just category, but subcategory. And just like that, you can see for technology, phone has the highest sales, and then it goes down to copiers and then chairs to furnish, things like that, right? In terms of office supplies, I think we have a lot of the data here, but I believe we can perhaps group them as well into, let's say, paper, no, let's say supplies, labels, fasteners, envelopes. I think we can group them and call them into small supplies perhaps. So if you right click on them, let's do that again. If you click Control, left click on these fours, you can right click onto it and click Group. And then let's name them. Let's name this group. Click on Edit Alias and name them Small Supplies. Right, it will create a different kind of subcategory where they all group together. And then you once again can sort them by the data. And there you go. You've made the next data set as well. And then let's name this sales and profit by supply, by category. So there you go. That's the first, another chart that you've made. Let's make one more. Let's make one more chart and then we can pull them all together into a dashboard. So the next thing that we can do, as you can see here, let's build another hierarchy. You can see a lot of location-related data, and Tableau recognizes that, making it a geographic data set, right? So this is city. If you right click on it, click Control, click on city, country, and region. I think there's a region down here, state and province, postal code. You can once again build another hierarchy. So click on that, click hierarchy, create hierarchy, and then let's say this is called location hierarchy. And then let's sort them again. So we start with state, province, country, region first, state, region, state, province, city, and then postal code, right? Now, instead of drag and dropping to build different visualization, we can use them using the Show Me tool that we've shown earlier as well, where they have pre-built tools for us. You click on location, and then if you click Control and click on sales, let's say let's analyze the data, location data, sales data by location. If you right click on it, oh, sorry, let's do that again. If you click on sales, click Control and click on state and province data, it will show the different tools that you can use, right? And we want to do a map. So let's double click on the map here, which would populate for you the map with the different data for the sales by states. And as you can see, Canada, there's some state as well. If you hover over them, they shows. Let's increase the size because it looks quite small, I'll say. So the dots, you can see where the sales are mainly at, right? California, Wisconsin, New York as well. You can also, like the previous map chart, bring in the profit data as well. If you drag it and drop it on colors, it will show where there's a high profit and a low profit, so that would help. And let's say if we only want to focus on the data in the states, you can filter it out as well. If you drag the country here onto filters, it will allows you to select which country you want to choose. You want to only show United States, so deselect Canada, okay, and then therefore it just focuses on the US map, right? And then because we're going to build a dashboard later, we want this to be able to filter throughout all the sheets. So let's click on here and click Apply to Worksheet, all using related data source. In that way, the sales data, as you can see, it changed a bit, right? And then it will show you just the sales for the US throughout all the charts as well. All right, what else do we have? We can combine the charts together on this sheet as well. So if tooltip is when you hover over an item and you can see the data, right? But let's try to bring this view into the map. So first of all, I will close this category. Let's just show categories for now. If you click on tooltip, let's delete all of this here and insert sheets onto it, and let's insert sales and profit by categories. And name them. If you click on insert here and click on state and province, click OK. What it would do is it would bring the other chart into this view. So instead of seeing the data, you can see the categories only filtered by that state and with the state name on top, right? So just do that again. If anyone hasn't been able to do it, you can click on insert the sheets and then the province name on here. Perfect. So you're able to build out the view as well and see what kind of data by category, sales, profit on this one sheet. And then let's change this name into sales and profit map. Right? So we have 3 views now. Let's bring them all together on this dashboard. And we only have a bit of time left, so I will try to get through as much as we can. First of all, let's try to do a fixed size. Change your size here. You can change it to whichever you like. I want a generic desktop view, so it's a bigger view here. This is what our dashboard is going to look like. Let's click on creating dashboard. Let's bring in some containers. Containers help us bring and organize the sheets that we've built so far, right? So we can drag our containers in. Let's drag in a text. What a vertical container is that it will layer the data top to bottom, right? So if we type in, let's say, Superstore sales performance, highlight this, we can change the fonts, bold it, make it 20 perhaps. I'll click OK. The title will open up the central. That will be the title, right? And then you can imagine if you want to put the charts side by side, right? So you can then bring a horizontal container under the title. Let's do that again. It will bring a container here, and then you can drag your charts in. So first, let's drag in our line chart, which is the monthly sales right here. We can also drag on the map. Let's just do 2 charts for now, just like that. So there you go. You can organize the data using the charts here. Okay. You can have these legends here if you want to as well. I prefer to not have them this time because I've already shown them as text here. So we can clear the filters. And then with these one, you can also hover over them. So maybe it's helpful to have them here. You can change this to a floating item, which it floats up top like that. And then maybe let's remove this one for now. Right? So that will make it a full view of the dashboards. And the fun thing about Tableau is that it has to be interactive as well, right? So what we can do is we can make this a filter for this sheet. So if you click on Use as Filter button here, click it. If you choose a certain thing, a certain states perhaps, as you can see, the chart would jump on the left, right? And then there you go. If you select it like that, it would change. So this helps the user if they want to focus on a specific data set only, you can click and then change them as needed as well. How did you, sorry, I'm just reading the comments right now. How did you edit the tooltip? If we go back to the map here, you can click on the tooltip button, double click on it, it will appears this box. I don't know if you guys can see this box. And then if you want to insert the map, you can insert the chart here, go to insert sheet, and then choose the chart that you want to insert. So that's how you do it. And then if you want to add the names of the field. You can also click add fields here, like state, province, and then it will show the data of the name of the states as well. And then to create a hierarchy, you can select multiple ones of them on here, and then click on right click it and click hierarchy, right? So if it was, you haven't created them yet, you can create the hierarchy now. And then because I've already created them, it will allow me to remove the hierarchy. Yeah, so hopefully that helps. Do let me know if it doesn't, and then just type it in the chat. Let's see what else should we make with this data. We can add some, maybe let's use this as a filter for the other page as well. If you can click use filter here, if you click on this, you can see the data also changes the way you want to slice and dice them. Right? All right. So the last thing we want to do, maybe let's add some filters in. And before that, let's add another container up top here. Drag and drop it there to be able to add our filters. So let's say the user doesn't want to use the map as a filter. That's all right as well. We can add filter boxes for them so they can use it. Let's see, they want to filter by states, right? And they want to filter, let's say, by year. Okay, let's just do state for now. If you want to filter by states, here's the filter for you. You can edit how your filter looks like. Let's say we only want to do single value drop down of the data. You can select that. So the users can choose them based on the states they want to see. Or if they want to do a multi-select with a drop-down data set, you can do that as well. You can click all, which shows everything. And as you can see, if you change the data like that, the sheet will change as it goes, right? So that's how the filter works. You can make this filter a bit smaller as well. Okay, let's not care about that for now. So there you go. If you bring in a blank, that filter will look a bit smaller if you want to. And then let's do the last step of creating, let's see the numbers aren't very clear right now. So I want to make another sheet to make sure people understand what kind of sales data that they're using. So if you click on sales here, let's create one last sheet. You drag sales onto text. It will show the sales number. You can change, because this is a currency data. You can click on sales here, right click onto it, and then let's see, go to default properties, change the number format. Let's change this to a standard currency from the United States. It will automatically understand that this is USD dollars, right? And then let's add a title into it of what this is. Let's call this total sales. Using the tooltip, we can make this a bit bigger as well. Let's change this to size 12. There you go. And then as you can see, the filters directly populated up here. So, and then let's change this into sales data. So if you bring that into the sheet now, the sales data would show on here. We can hide the title, which shows the data. So if you perhaps, I will bring the box here. So I want my scorecard to be here, my filter to be here. If you click on the data, it will filter every sheet on here. So you can see the total sales of New York is X amount. And if you filter it further, for 2022, the sales of New York is $6,000, right? There you go. So that's it. We have a very, very basic dashboard that we were able to build in perhaps 20 minutes. So I hope it was helpful. We can do another fun thing. Let's do one last thing. Let's change this into the state name. So if you double click on the title, insert the states, click OK. Currently it's selected as all states, but if you want to change it to Alabama, that will change up here as well, right? And apply to worksheet. if you click on the filter here and click apply to all worksheets, so as you change the data by Alabama, you can see it's called Alabama states here. This is the sales for Alabama and then the sales by year. And there you go. The filter can work with the dashboard as well. So it gives the user a holistic experience with the dashboards. I can show you guys the dashboard that this one is, I just make some more edits of graphics here so you can bring more total profit into it. You can change the colors, play around with it, switch the year as well so you can switch them around. And you can go do even much more work at it, which I will show you later. So yeah, let's see if did you embed the legend in the dashboard map? So with the legend, you can right click on here and go to legends. Click on legends on here. As you can see, I deselected them. It would disappear. If I click them again, it will appear again. So the legends goes up here. For the filters, when we start with the map, this map, if you track it in, you can right click on here and click apply to worksheets and all using related data source. And then for the filters up here, you can do the same thing, apply to worksheet, all using this related data source. That's how you show the data up here. Yeah, hopefully you can do that. If you have any issue, you can also rewatch them as well onto here, and then you're able to see the how I've done this dashboard. All right, so let's go back in the last few minutes. Let's go back to the slides. Some other tips and tricks for you to use as a good data storyteller. You want to be able to craft a compelling narrative, right? Make sure understand what data you want to tell, what story you want to tell. Focus only on the key message and show the right visuals you need on the dashboards. You don't need 10, 20 visuals on one dashboard. You only need just a few scorecards, maybe a few charts. Just really tailor the view for the user, right? And last but not least, when you build one, you can send them out to your user, your audience, ask for feedback, stuff like that. It will help you understand a lot what kind of data it is, and see if they like the view or not. So I think that would really help as you improve as a data storyteller to build your dashboards as well. I want to share with you some community resources as we go ahead and explore Tableau as a tool as well. So first of all, I will bring on my browser here. Tableau Public is an extremely powerful data where you can look at different dashboards that people build, much more advanced than the things we've built today. Let's see, using the same data set, people are being able to build these kind of dashboard, right? With different functionality, different refreshes, changes the use of data as well. So play around with it, try to be inspired by it. Many different data set here that you can see. So Tableau Public, extremely powerful. There are like these viz of the days one as well, where you can see what's the most popular viz of the day and trying to learn and see different techniques that they use, right? It's not just dashboards, it's about infographic, these kind of charts that you can see here as well. And then there's these ones. There are some different challenges that you can do to improve your skills. So back to Viz Basics, there's a series of different challenges you can play around to build this different visualization. There are step-by-step guides so you can challenge yourself. Makeover Monday, it's a very popular one as well with many years. And there's like YouTube tutorial, which you can follow to fix them as well. And then the Tableau community has a bunch of different data for you to try different challenge. If you are interested in sport data or anything else, you can use that as well. And then Tableau has an e-learning data set where you have different paths that you can learn to improve your skills. So there's plenty of data source or resources out there that you can use to help improve your data skills. Twitter is a very popular one as well. If you use this hashtag DataFam onto there, people are very active on there, so you can use that or the forum to ask your questions, and people are more than happy to help you share your visualization, and just expand your skills as the first-time Tableau user as well. So I think it's a good time for Q&A now. We'll have like 5 minutes for some Q&A. If you have any questions, please drop it in the chat. Where can I find data sets to practice with? Great question. So I believe there's like a lot of data sets with these challenges. They will give you data sets as well. So you can use these challenges to build out data. As you can see, the data set is like a certain based on a certain article, data sets on here. These community challenges, they have data sets as well. So it's a good first place to start if you need to find data sets. And then I think there's like these public pages with data set. I'm not too sure which one it is, but there are like other data sets online that you can use as well that are free to practice your skills with as well. Any questions? Feel free to drop them in the chat as well. How did you add a title in the last sales spreadsheet without losing and then include it in the dashboard? Awesome. I'll just bring that up quickly. So if you're on here, I changed this because it's as a tooltip. So if I click on tooltip here, sorry, as a text. So if you click on text here, click on the three dots. If you see this chart pop up, I include the line to include total sales. And you type total sales up there and then click on here. Just type in total sales like that. And then when you add it bring it to the dashboard, it will appear like that. And even if I hide the title, let's see, I'm not hiding titles here, you can still see total sales. What kind of other uses have you discovered this tool can be used for? I think just data visualization and dashboarding is a very big capabilities in itself. In my work, a lot of people are looking at they're looking at different dashboards that we want to build to be able to clean the data, right? To be able to dissect the data. And it doesn't have to be complicated. You can see a lot of complicated examples on Tableau Public. If I bring back Tableau Public, like these kind of dashboards, to be honest, you probably will not build them at work, but the users will want very simple. These kind of dashboards is what is very popular, common, because it helps with dissecting or understanding their data. So it would be, this is the main use case. And then in other use case, you can use Tableau to just do very quick ad hoc, is what they call. Like you just throw in the data set, dice the data, do a very quickly analysis. So it doesn't have to be like all beautiful and everything. I think that's a very popular other use case. Those are the three most popular ones I would see. If you want to build like things like these charts, stuff like that, you can do that as well. But yeah, mainly to dissect data, share insights for users. Those are the main things that are being used as Tableau. Because you can publish them on public, right? Tableau Public. And then if you're using with clients, then there's like internal tools that you can use to publish them internally as well. Right. Last questions. Any questions? Any questions? How do you share dashboard with your clients? So if you're using Tableau Public, you can share them, you can publish it on here. And it's not the best because everyone can see it. If you use it with your clients, usually they need to have a Tableau license like yourself as well, and which will connect to something called Tableau Cloud. And I cannot show it here because it's only like even clients related, right? So it's an internal tool you shared with them on the server. And that's how you're able to share it with different people internally. So Tableau, it's called Tableau Cloud or Tableau Server, is how you would share it internally with your team or with clients. But if it's just like you want to share with your friends, then Tableau Public is a good way to share about it as well. All right, so that's about it. I will pass this back on to Ivan as well for some final information. Here's my LinkedIn and my email in case anyone wants to connect with me and further this conversation. Happy to chat. So there you go. Connect with me and we can follow up on this conversation as well. But Ivan, do you want to take it away with the last part?
Great. Thank you so much, Bill, for sharing your expertise on the data visualization and offering us such, valuable strategies and especially the practical insight on using Tableau. I know there's so much more that we can talk about in an hour is not enough. But I really appreciate that, your approach has given us a fresh perspective on making data more accessible and impactful. And on behalf of everyone here, I really appreciate your time, your knowledge, and the clarity that you brought to this essential skill. Everyone, please check your inbox shortly for a short survey from us that will ask you about your thought on your time with us today. We also have a survey link in the chat right now, as well as the QR codes. So if you can just scan it with your phone camera, your response would really helpful for us as we plan our future programming. And supporting what's covering here today, we also share, different various resource link by Bill, but I'll checking in with him and I might be able to share that with you in a follow-up email later on. Another thing is please visit, our career exploration and education website for more information about all of the program and services that are available for you in the future. Um, Just one last thing, throughout the year, we host a variety of different events that design to create valuable opportunities for you to connect with each other, but also with our alumni community. So keep checking our website and CONX for future opportunities to engage with us. You can also join us on the UofT Hub on 10,000 Coffee, which is a free online networking platform for UofT alumni and students. The platform makes networking easy and efficient. You can connect with other members directly at your convenience or opt in for a monthly introduction features, which will match you with someone based on their industry or their professional background. And again, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. And we look forward to connecting and engage with you for future events.